Welcome back everyone to the Building Green 2020, the digital conference. Building Green is the flagship campaign for PHILGBC's events and consists of year-round activities that encourage participation in the green building advocacy. I am Mario Suelto from the PHILGBC National Secretariat and will be today's facilitator. Before we continue, please be reminded of the following event guidelines. This webinar will be recorded by the PHILGBC National Secretariat for documentation purposes. We encourage active participation during the event. You may ask your questions using the question box in the GoToWebinar panel. Questions that you will raise will be addressed during the discussion period. Upon request, an electronic certificate of attendance will be issued by the PHILGBC National Secretariat to your registered email address. Please request a copy through events@philgbc.org. We would like to acknowledge our BG2020 sponsors, our Diamond Sustaining Member, Neo Property Management, and our conference sponsor, AGC Incorporated. Thank you for your sustained support. This week, we are joining the global celebration of the World Green Building Week with the other national green building councils all around the world, as we encourage businesses, organizations, and governments to act on climate. We had an exciting week starting with the announcement of the winners of the PHILGBC Leadership in Green Building Awards 2020 during episode 9, The Leaders. Congratulations once again to our winners, Arthaland Corporation, to the Arthaland Century Pacific Tower Project, Botanica Nature Residences Project, and Ms. Serena Ramos. We also learned about programs for the local government units during episode 10, The Government Leaders. Episode 11, The Alternatives, highlighted the strategies of projects and technology providers in incorporating renewable energy in our projects. Yesterday, episode 12, The World, featured our global projects, the Advancing Net Zero and the Better Places for People, and the work of our regional and country partners in promoting net zero and healthier and better places in our country. As we are closing the World Green Building Week, we want to highlight the work of our green building leaders in the industry and their green building projects under the BERDE Green Building Rating System. We will be listening to the technical features of their buildings and what makes their projects a BERDE Green Building project. We will also hear their insight on their commitment in pursuing green buildings and successfully completing the BERDE certification process for their projects. Today, we will be learning from the following projects. 6 NEO Project of NEO, a BERDE Stage 3 Operations 5-star certified green building project. To share with us its features, Mr. Ramon Rufino, the Chief Executive Officer of NEO and Treasurer and member of the PHILGBC Board of Trustees, will be presenting the 6 NEO project. He is also a Global Governing Trustee of the Urban Land Institute, founding chair of the Next Gen Council of WWF Philippines, Real Estate Industry Network Regional Chair, Southeast Asia of YPO, and board member of Arise Philippines. The next project will be the Mosa Diamond Tower of the Mosa Land Incorporated, a project pursuing BERDE certification. This will be discussed by Ms. Cathy Saldana, Principal and CEO of PDP Architects. She is a trustee in the board of the Urban Land Institute Philippines and the East Asian Regional Organization for Planning and Human Settlements. She is the green building professional for the project, and she is a certified BERDE professional. The next project is Modala Beach Resort in Moadto Strip by Mono Realty Incorporated, a project pursuing BERDE certification. This will be discussed by Mr. Childo Soriano, the Director for Engineering of Monocrete Construction Philippines Incorporated, and she is a certified BERDE professional. Next will be Cebu Exchange of Cebu Lavana Land Corporation, a project pursuing BERDE certification. This will be presented by Ms. Cristina Samantha Pobre, the Sustainability Manager of Arthaland Corporation. She is spearheading the company's sustainability ventures, and she is also a certified BERDE professional. The next project is Mandani Bay Suites, Tower 1 and 2, a BERDE Stage 1 design, 4-star certified green building project, and pursuing Stage 2 construction certification. To present the project, we have Mr. Jeffrey Lunn, who is currently the project advisor of HT Land Incorporated, a joint venture of Hong Kong Land and Taft Property Development Corporation. He oversees the development of Mandani Bay, an iconic 20-hectare mixed-use community along the Mactan Channel in Mandaue City, Cebu. The last project is Latitude Corporate Center of DLCBT Ventures Incorporated, a project pursuing BERDE certification. This will be presented by Mr. Francis Rodriguez, the Technical Planning Manager of Cebu Landmasters Incorporated. He is a certified BERDE professional. So to present the first project, 6 Neo, we have with us Mr. Ramon Rufino. Let me now pass the audio to you, Sir Raymond.
Thank you, Mario. Good morning and happy World Green Building Week, everyone. Today, I would like to share with all of you some stories and insights on our BERDE journey. You know, I am not an architect, I'm not an engineer, even though very often I feel like one in our business and doing our project. So I thought it would be more impactful and helpful to everyone if I shared more on the stories and insights rather than on the very detailed technical items. I'm sure many of the projects and speakers after me will delve a little bit deeper into some of the technical aspects of the features and the projects. But I really wanted to get things off today, really talking about our journey and our thought process and experience in doing our own BERDE projects. And so our journey with BERDE really started with 6 Neo when we confirmed to be the pilot project for BERDE new construction back in 2010. As part of our support for the launch of the Green Building Rating System, we were admittedly very nervous. The design was mostly complete, and we were already well into construction at that stage. So whatever changes or features we could still introduce would only be on a limited basis. So we didn't have as much, I guess, flexibility as a project that had the Green Building Rating tool or BERDE in hand during the design stage. But we took up the challenge and we said, let's give it a shot. Let's hope for the best and try to see if we could get a green building certification in place for this project. So when we were awarded 4 stars in 2014 as the first certified BERDE new construction project, we were extremely happy and proud. And I really want to, thank my team, my hardworking team, everyone in our project team, from our, consultants to our in-house team. Everyone really worked so hard on that certification. In fact, it took a full 4 years for us to get certified being the pilot project. But what I want to share is something that we're even more proud of, and that is our BERDE for Operations 5-star rating. So, after 5 years of being certified for new construction, you enter the next phase of green building certification, which is getting certified for operations. And this is what I want to highlight. The entire life cycle of a BERDE journey does not, start and end with design and construction. It really continues with operations. So I think this is something that we're very proud of because we were the first project that got certified as new construction and also got certified as operations. So we've been able to continue the great momentum from the design and construction all the way to the operations side of the building. And this is really a lot of hard work. Our property management team and operations team have worked very hard to ensure that the building continues to deliver on sustainability and performance even well after it was completed. So we're very, very proud of that. And it's something that I want to just get everyone to think about as we go through all of the BERDE projects today. And as you all think about BERDE projects, please remember that BERDE is really throughout the life cycle of that project. It's not just about design, it's not just about construction, it's very much also about operations. So please don't forget how important it is to also focus on the operational aspect and make sure that the buildings that we design and construct as green stay that way for the next 50, 70, 100 years of the life of that project. So we can go to the next slide. So this is the lobby of the building. And so when we first worked with our foreign consultant, Chad Oppenheim, who is a top green architect based in Miami, one of the design concepts he wanted for the building was this high level of transparency, where the line between the outside and inside was blurred. So we worked very hard to achieve that with tall glass walls supported by fins without using the typical, aluminum structure or mullion system that you would see in most shop fronts or lobby fronts. And it was quite a challenge because we had to really try to get these large pieces of glass. We had to make sure they were structurally stable even during storms. And a lot of detailing went into this. In fact, one of my fond memories is a long discussion we had about spending more for glass to reduce the iron content. Because by reducing the iron content in the glass, you would reduce the amount of coloration you would see in the fins as you walk by those fins that you see supporting the glass. And to be quite honest, I doubt very few, if any, of our tenants would actually notice that kind of detail, right? So many of you might ask, then why even bother? Why go to that level of detail in doing and specifying things for the building? And what we believe is because, like any great creation, be it a building or a software platform, the sum of all the little details in service of the big ideas is what makes a project or creation great. Or put simply, it's what makes it work. So in this case, the added pop from an artwork which we commissioned from artist JB Gamboa called Philippine Smile is, I guess, the finishing touch for this lobby. So when we worked with JB, the brief we gave him was we wanted in an art piece that would greet people as they came in, but also bid them farewell as they left the building. And so we said, we wanted to be happy, we wanted to be positive, but most importantly, we wanted it to have a connection with the Philippines, a Philippine context. We thought that was very, very important to have in the project. Very many projects we have locally lose that connection with who we are as a community, who we are as a people, who we are as a country. So we thought it was very good to integrate that with some of the art that we have in the project. And also, a lot of the effort for the lobby treatment is also consistent across all the retail shop fronts. So as you move around this project, whether you're walking in the arcade or whether you're sitting inside one of the restaurants having a cup of coffee, that line between the inside and outside is always blurred. So you kind of feel when you're inside, you feel like you're part of the outside, and when you're outside, you feel like you can easily come into the inside. Next slide. So I often get asked, Raymond, what was the most important green building feature when you did this building? And I often say the facade. So when we were looking at the building, I spoke earlier about this concept of the high transparency. So Chad Oppenheim really wanted to carry that concept of the idea of transparency all the way through the building, not just at the ground floor, but all the way up into the tower. But that proposed a significant challenge because we live and work in a tropical country with a lot of heat. So what you have when you have a lot of transparency is normally you also get a lot of that heat, which as we know is a problem because you'll have to work your air conditioning ever harder, and that is more power consumption. So what was the solution? The solution was really to try to employ a combination of technologies and have a system where you have these sunshades that would wrap around the building, coupled with a high performance curtain wall. So if you look at this picture here, the first layer is that perforated aluminum sunshade. Behind that, you have a double glazed glass, which is two panes of glass with a low E coating, uh, with an air gap in between. And for those who attended the session yesterday, Stephanie from AGC did a great job of explaining how important the building envelope or facade is, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you again, AGC, for being the sponsor for the conference. But it's so true that the building facade and the glass in particular is so critical in designing a green building because it plays so many critical roles and delivers a lot of the performance, eventual performance of the building. But the final layer, so you have your sunshades on the outside, you have that double glazed curtain wall, which is very efficient. And the last layer is we had heat rejecting solar blinds specified for all tenants to use on the interior. So you now have, as a result, all of these layers working in tandem with each other, and you really get these beautiful panoramic views, lots of natural daylight, but without the heat gain, so you don't have to spend so much power on your air conditioning. And then we're able to minimize our carbon footprint as well. So, I think when a lot of people see the building, they see the sunshades first, and they think that it's an architectural sort of feature first that was done. It was actually a very functional piece of the building that was developed, and later on became the architectural a signature look. I say with the for the building. So all of these sunshades are positioned based on the patterns of the sun as they come across the building. So they are positioned where they can be most effective, and really it is a form it is a an example of a functional piece of the building that also brings an aesthetic quality to the overall project. So we're very happy and proud of this system, which was very complicated to do but has performed extremely well. Next slide. So one of the things we also wanted to do in the buildings, and we did this in both 6 and 7 Neo, was to encourage what we call active mobility. And active mobility is really this thinking about how do you encourage people within the project, within the building, to move rather than just using elevators or escalators. You try to encourage them to move. This is really born out of the idea that sitting is the new smoking, and that sedentary lifestyles really affect human health and well-being. So one of the things we did was to try to improve some of the stairs we have in the building to really do that, encourage people to move around and circulate in the building. But one of the things we realized when we were doing the project is that people tend to prefer to take elevators. That's their normal behavior. So if you want people to use the stairs, you have to make an effort. So what we did was we improved the lighting, improved the finishing. We added speakers for music. In fact, we're working with a group called Homonym now, where we're creating custom soundtracks for all of the buildings, and we will be playing those custom soundtracks within the circulation stairs as well. But one of the big features we did was to work with the family of Francisco Coching. Those of you who may be familiar, he is the 2014 National Artist for the Visual Arts, and he's very well known for his comics. No, so a lot of the big heroes that you are familiar with are all can be traced to the great stories and comics that Francisco Coching created. So we worked with them because we wanted to introduce artwork within the circulation stairs to also provide a point of interest and entertainment for everyone. So we were the first vertical exhibit for him as after he became a national artist in 7 Neo, and then we also installed all of his artworks in 6 Neo. So now we have many of his iconic illustrations and comic book covers and features throughout both of these stairs that the tenants can enjoy while they walk up and down the building. Next slide. Parking, I know not the sexiest thing to talk about or to look at, but parking is really an important aspect and a necessity for any building. Here, we have a picture from the outside, from the inside looking outside of the parking podium of 6 Neo. I know many of our friends, the architects, really prefer to put parking underground or in the basement for the look and feel of the building. We, as developers, really believe in podium parking for the following reasons. One, you get a lot of natural ventilation. Number two, you get a lot of natural light. It's lower in terms of construction cost and operating cost. It's faster to build, and it adds, height to the building. So if you have a podium of, depending on your project, 5 to 6 floors, you can have additional 5 to 6 floors in height for your building. But bottom line, the reason why we like this parking podium so much is really because the tenants like it. The overall experience of the tenants in driving up this parking is much, much better. So it's quite simple and straightforward. We introduced louvers around the building and allow all of that wonderful light and air to come in and be present throughout the parking podiums. Next slide. So one of the, I guess, innovations we did for this building was really to introduce electric vehicle charging stations. This is in partnership with Meralco. Back then, there were really no electric vehicles available. Now, we still don't have too many, but at least now you have some options. Some electric vehicles are available. So our tenants can park here and charge their electric vehicles for free if they want to. Really, we are big believers that electric vehicles are a great way to minimize carbon emissions for the transport industry. So we also feel as owners, developers, that we have to do our share and provide some of the infrastructure to encourage electric vehicles. It is our hope that more electric car charging vehicles infrastructure become present all throughout our buildings so that we encourage more people to shift to electric vehicles as part of their mode of transport. Next slide. This is a picture of the reflecting pool in 6 Neo as we look out to 7 Neo. And for me, it's I like this picture a lot because of the water element, the water feature here. And I think when we were doing the BERDE rating tool, one of the important learnings for me was how much importance is put and how much weight is put on water and water conservation, which is such a priority for us in the Philippines. So in 6 Neo, we took a baby step. We couldn't do rainwater because we were too far along in our process. So we said we will do condensate water harvesting. We would collect all of the condensate water from our air conditioning system and recycle that for use. But we really used the learnings from that experience. And if you look at the building across 7 Neo, that is where we started with our first full rainwater harvesting system, where we collect all of the rainwater and use that for all of our landscaping and other water requirements. Next slide. This is a picture of the public park, rather tenant park that we have on the 8th level of 6 and 7 Neo. Luckily, because we have a large lot area and large podiums, 6 and 7 share a common podium where we can have these other reflecting pool area, but also a beautiful green sky park. This was extremely challenging to do back then because green roofs are very technical. But luckily, in partnership with Lafarge or now Republic, we were able to create a green roof that integrated everything we wanted, which was great quality waterproofing, a green layer where we could plant all of these plants and other greenery to provide a break for all of the employees who want to escape maybe from the office for a bit and enjoy some of the beautiful outdoors without having to go all the way to the ground floor. Next slide. This is our public park called Neo Park. And really, one of the things I would like to highlight when we talk about green buildings is looking at not just the buildings themselves. So one of the commitments we made was we wanted to work with the community and give back to our community in Bonifacio Global City as well. So this is a pocket park. Originally, it was going to be handled purely by Fort Bonifacio Development Corp and Bonifacio Estates. Admittedly, they had a limited budget for it, so it's going to be a very simple green project, a very simple park. So what we did was we said, maybe there's an opportunity for us to create a partnership for this park, and really this Adopt a Park program was born. In Bonifacio Global City now, you do have the opportunity, if you are an owner developer, to partner with Fort Bonifacio and BESC to adopt the parks that are adjacent to your properties. We were the first one to push this kind of partnership. And what it really means is you are able to adopt a park in front of you. You will take care of the design, construction, maintenance, and operation of the park as your contribution to the community. And in exchange, the Bonifacio community gets this wonderful experience in terms of a park. So we work with Jeffrey who is a top landscape architect and public artist to design this park. Um, Even this park has green features in the park. And as you go through this, if you walk around the park, you say, oh, it's nice, it's got greenery, it's quite pleasant. But more than that, it's got a lot of green features. Those bands you see, those gray bands, are actually pervious pavers. Those pavers were created specifically for this project. They contain recycled plastic content from discarded Nestle packaging. And so there's plastic inside all of those pavers, but they're pervious for a reason, and that is to collect rainwater and to harvest rainwater, which we then use to water all of the landscaping in that park, whether it's the trees or the bushes. The seat wall you see there was created to kind of give the message that our ice caps are melting because of climate change. This is a representation of the melting ice caps and how we can all contribute and do our share in preventing that climate change from happening by going into green buildings and really promoting a sustainability across our projects and our lifestyle. So that's why the seat wall is also green. Yeah, we're very proud of this particular feature because very often when you talk about projects and green buildings, most owners and developers stop at the property line or the building line. I think it's very important for us to be responsible and proactive and go beyond what is just our buildings and try to do something good for the community. So we're very happy that this is our gift to the BGC community moving forward. Next slide. Okay, I'm almost out of time here. So I would like to end with just three quick final messages for everyone as I conclude this presentation. Number one, BERDE is a credible green building rating tool, and in my opinion, is the most appropriate for us to use in projects in the Philippines. I know there are a lot of green building rating tools, and they are all fantastic. LEED, Green Mark, Green Star, all of them are great. But I really do believe that BERDE is the most appropriate for us because it was created by Filipinos for Filipinos. And if you hear people say, I don't want to use BERDE because I think LEED is better, please do not believe them. Again, all of our buildings are BERDE certified. Every one of our tenants has supported BERDE. None, but not a single tenant has said, "Oh, I wish your building was LEED instead of BERDE." We have, whether our tenants are, Coca-Cola, Google, Procter and Gamble, the largest companies, even American companies, have accepted and respect BERDE as a credible green building rating tool. So just want to leave you all with that very important point. Second, the BERDE journey covers design, construction, and operations. So don't forget the operations piece. The building and property management teams are the unsung heroes of our industry. They are the ones working tirelessly every day to ensure our green buildings stay green and perform sustainably. So don't just think about the initial phase of your project. Let's all remember that our buildings are here and our buildings are going to last for many, many years. And that operations is such a critical component of the life cycle of that building. And I guess my last and third point is, the most common question I get is people always ask, how much more does it cost to build a green building? How much more premium do I have to shoulder in order to go green? So, for me, it's reached a point where I really want people to stop asking the question, how much more does a green building cost? I would rather you all ask yourselves the question, how much more does a better, higher quality building cost, really? Because at the end of the day, don't look at green building as just something that you need to comply with or just something for to tick the box, right? I think if when you go build a green building, you are really creating a much better, higher quality building. So the question is, am I building a regular, normal building, or am I aspiring for a higher, better quality building, which will also for sure include a lot of these green features and a lot of sustainability? So, with that, I'd like to thank you all for your time and attention. And again, happy Green Building Week, everyone. I hope that you continue to be inspired, regardless of what your job is or what your role is within the industry. I hope you can help join us push green building and sustainability. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mario.
Thank you very much, Sir Raymond. So for questions, again, you may use the question panel to ask your questions, and we will be addressing them in the discussion period after all of the presenters finish their presentation for their projects. So we'll now move to the next project, which is the Damosa Diamond Tower, and we have Kathy Saldana. So let me now pass the audio to you, Kathy, and control for the presentation.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us in a very significant week. So we are very proud to present to you the Damosa Diamond Tower, which is a project that won Best Architecture Design for an office tower, as well as several commendations for office development and upcoming developments, not just here in Davao City, but also all over the Philippines with this significant contribution. So our company is PDP Architects. We're based here in Manila, and the project is in Davao City. As we move forward, we will see the next slide. And we would like to discuss with you the various highlights of it. So it's located in a central business district already that is mix of industrial, commercial, residential, bustling with views, interesting with its own tourism growth, a new seat of government perhaps for this administration, as well as convention centers, medical and emergency facilities. It is very close as well to the airport, hotels, and shopping districts. This is an artist's rendition of the project. Later on, we will be showing you actual photos of where we are in the stage of construction. Moving forward. So we have been commissioned to work on this project, and our inspiration takes form from the company's main agricultural business. Damosa is owned by a family that really began in the banana plantation business. And because of this, our inspiration was the banana fiber. And that fiber, when you cut up the stalk in the middle, you will understand that the sinews of it and the grains are following a certain curvilinear form. And we emphasize this in the building deck, as well as the facade, the fins, showing and highlighting those curves. So we feature a lot of sustainable technologies here, such as LED lighting, solar panels, and other eco-friendly insulation to make it a future-proof development. And we are committed to harnessing renewable energy as well, connecting both to the main grid with access to the alternative power source. Next slide. So it's a PEZA accredited IT park in southern Mindanao, where it is. And in this area, we have been doing efficient planning for the building, including intelligent and smart features that will allow much comfort and convenience for the clients. Some renderings, because we are already approaching completion stage, and you will see some of the photos later on. Next. We also have a roof deck and a garden on top. And in light of this, we have that element of hospitality showcasing the cuisine of Davao, which will be highlighted right below a helipad. I would now like to proceed to the green building framework discussion of the Damosa Diamond Tower. Of course, we followed the 9 elements for management, use of land and ecology, energy efficiency and conservation, water efficiency and conservation, waste management, green materials, transportation, indoor environment quality, and emissions. So we have been hired PDP Architects to be the green building professional to review for our certification. We currently also have a designated management representative, Mark Elipio. We are now working on consultations with our stakeholders. It's a constant and ongoing process to discern various processes, solutions, discussions, strategies, coupled with the challenges that we are facing now with COVID-19. And through all of these, we have identified a project delivery team that will assist the management in the different stages of certification. Moving forward, we have an effective site selection. We might say that the site in itself is part of a little township, and we were able to maximize the use of this particular plot of land leading towards the left side corner of the property. And in this mixed use complex, we are part of a future plan where we will be connecting all the buildings with bridges, create various improvements. And in this portion, we're also working on roof gardens. We're also adding more plants as well as green spaces and walkways throughout the whole township. On the next slide, we have manufacturers' details of various energy efficient fixtures, equipment such as elevators, lighting, air conditioning, and smart building technology efficiency systems. We are also looking at a solar generating panel, and we would also like to discuss the fins that we have attached and the double glazed low emissivity glass, and lessening the heat transfer to the building because we are really truly facing a lot of direct sunlight. We are also able to lessen the usage of energy for air conditioning. We created a system for water efficiency with the fixtures that we purchased. We discussed lengthily with our supplier, HCG, for water saving equipment and went through also the processes of installation. We also have our own rainwater catchment area. We have our STP connected to the ground floor flushing systems. And then we also created ways by which we could save water even in the showers that we installed, all connected for the saving of this precious resource. Also for our basin, our rainwater cistern, which will then allow us to use this water for cleaning as well as for plants. This is the location of our rainwater harvest tank on the plan. For waste management, we have created a system by which we are encouraging all tenants, of course, to reduce, reuse, recycle. We are all going to practice waste segregation, and the provision of the material recovery facility is a most vital part of our waste management strategies. We will be, together with the owner, implementing a solid waste management plan for waste reduction, not just in its operations for the building itself, but we are already implementing this during the construction process. Green materials are of most vital element, truly, in the green building framework. And for this, we were happy to have met and been introduced to various suppliers within that certain radius from the site. So our contractors are from Davao, and they can certainly work side by side with the efficiency of Manila-based contractors. At the same time, we were able to get subcontractors also from the Davao, Cebu area. We were also able to identify sources of materials. We were able to find reusable wood and other areas for our cement, for our steel, all within Davao, Mindanao. So you can see it's a bustling economic zone. Therefore, there are a lot of locally manufactured materials now. Moving forward, We were also able to discuss with Boys and Paints for their certified low VOC content paint, as well as another wood source from South Africa that is also processed and assembled here in the Philippines. It's from a sustainable farm called Ang Panday. And of course, I already mentioned earlier, the fixtures and the equipment from green certified suppliers. Carwill Construction is the name of our contractor from Davao. For transportation, our accessibility to different key establishments within the 250-meter radius from our building entrance is highlighted by the presence of restaurants, banks, commercial facilities, residential towers very close by, as well as a microtel, which is also owned by the same parent company. We have access to mass transport from jeepneys, tricycles, and very close to the international airport. We were able to design bike racks as well as create provisions for bicycle parking and shower stalls for cyclists and people who walk to encourage that element of health, wellness, and sustainability. We have shower stalls on every floor. For indoor environment quality, we took note of visual and thermal comfort. Aside from the use of double glazed low emission glass to minimize the UV light, we of course used our exterior fins designed along the grid of the banana fibers within and inside the banana stalk. So this exterior fin that was customized is angled to the light. Just as Raymond Rufino was also discussing in his building earlier, we also designed graceful curves along the sources of light. This way, you have it not just as an element of design, but also to create that function of managing glare inside. For acoustic comfort, of course, we were able to find the best double glazing that our supplier, Sunland, was able to provide us. For indoor environment quality, we highlighted the daylight access, which is approximately 95% for all users, and outdoor views access, which is 85%. Once again, in indoor environment quality, considering the contagion that we are already experiencing now, we are future-proofing the building by installing mats that may accept chemicals as well as sanitation alcohol for cleaning shoes, and of course the sanitation gates, which will now be part of standard protocol for people for infection and microbial contamination. We used R32 refrigerants for air conditioning, of course, zero ODS, and found ways to find suppliers for more energy saving equipment, most especially for air conditioning. Less environmental impact, of course, compared to regular refrigerants. We also would like to highlight a post-pandemic response that we designed together with the owner. And this highlights the following principles: the use of antimicrobial surfaces, smart technology, creation of isolation pods of furniture, especially in the social areas, understanding the visual cues, putting forth disinfection stations, and reducing the touch points by having more touchless, hands-free design from the doors to the elevators. And all of this also blend with the BERDE standards. The main entrances will have hand washing stations, shoe disinfecting mats, and of course the regular standard infrared fever screening that we now find in all the public buildings. And everywhere you go in the Damosa Diamond Tower, you will find antibacterial surfaces as well as distance markers. There will be the smart elevators as well, and the antibacterial surfaces in the different surfaces and hallways. For our roof deck and also for near the helipad, we would like to highlight also our planters because we are encouraging urban farming, reflecting as well the parent company's agricultural history as well as its other development called Agrea, and being a leader in sustainable agriculture in Mindanao. For our dining areas, we have as well our distance markers, antibacterial surfaces, and for the public washrooms, also as we are pointing out here, we have antibacterial surfaces alongside our smart elevators. And on the next slide, we would like to show to you our construction updates. So we are expecting to finish and complete our project in November 2020 this year. We already have potential tenants, and we are very excited to welcome you as well to the Mossel Lands Diamond Tower. Very quickly, some project milestones. Our groundbreaking and topping off ceremonies. Our awards for Best Office Architecture Design, as well as our commendations for Best Office Development and Best BPO Office Development. Truly, we're going to be a new landmark in Davao. And once again, as we approach this new normal, as we all call it globally, we are now spreading not just progress, but people all over the country. And people now can work on various projects all over the world, even from Davao, Manila, Bohol, Cebu, Iloilo. And this is the way to progress. Let's spread it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kathy. So we'll now move to our next project, which is the Modala Beach Resort in Moadto Strip. So we have Mr. Childa Soriano for this presentation.
Good morning, sustainability partners. I am Ches Soriano representing Mono Realty to share with you Mudala and Moadto's offering. Lifestyle with nature. Last year, we were also privileged to share to the public Mudala's journey to sustainability. Today, I shall focus on the most compelling reasons on how the owners have decided on leading with this market transformation. Primarily, these are the drone shots taken prior to the development of the master plan for this project. This is the tip, which we call Dolho Point, and where there are preserved coral reefs that can be seen all throughout the shoreline. Here is the photo also of the mangroves where vast species can be found. And this is the fish sanctuary, which is a protected reef area located at the tip of the island also. So how did the owners came up with this leisure village? With this property, when they were doing the survey of the land, they encountered locals and heard their concerns about beach front hotels in the area. The locals did not know that the people that they are talking to are the owners of this property. So they have aired their concerns, and the main one is that when developers come and build beachfront hotels, the locals are the ones who are actually left behind. Considering the culture of the Filipinos, people will not easily go through hotel lobbies just to access the shoreline and swim without checking in. So the idea for this project came about. The owners, being motivated by the beauty of the place and the concerns of the people, have thought up of Mudala. They have come up with a leisure village wherein a marketplace shall go together with the hotel to give access to non-guests and especially locals to go to the village and most importantly to the beach. What G was then commissioned to create the master plan in 2013, encompassing the whole property, and such master plan was divided into 5 phases. The first being our topic today, Mudala Hotel and Moadto Strip. This is the render of the master plan provided by What G to the owners. Magnificent, right? And within this early stage, sustainability was already incorporated from the conceptual design. Core BERDE framework were actually considered prior to the decision of the owners to proceed with the certification of Mudala. Thus, Mudala was planned and brought to fruition by a well-seasoned group of designers, contractor, and suppliers under the constant lead and guidance of the owner, Engineer Manuel Mendoza and Mrs. Elizabeth Mendoza. So for this webinar, I will be showing some features of the project which are connected with the core BERDE framework of our certification. First of which, energy efficiency and conservation. Conservation. Lobbies, common areas, and guest room circulation areas all have natural ventilation, thus improving the indoor air quality and reducing the requirement for additional electricity for both lighting and HVAC system. Energy efficient materials were also used to bring together an energy efficient building to reduce the heat gain into all interior spaces and ensures low air infiltration in air-conditioned areas. Some of these materials are stone-coated metal roof, which are used all throughout the Moadto Strip, which have recyclable content, precast walls and claddings for all areas, operable shutters and windows. VRF system by Daikin's inverter system are installed without refrigerant to mitigate harmful emissions. The system had a minimum EER of 14 and provide an additional ability to provide cooling on an individual basis to multiple areas. All rooms are also provided, as shown in the picture, with user-controlled shades for glare control and visual comfort of the guests. All of the lighting fixtures are LED and has high illumination specifications for a more efficient lighting system. All rooms have individual controls for each fixture to ensure the comfort of the guests and to save on electricity if not used. Motion sensors are installed in key areas to minimize prolonged use of lights even without the occupants. Water efficiency and conservation, low-flow fixtures and fittings are installed all throughout, including per floor meter or per area meters to monitor the consumption in addressing conservation issues. Also, to maximize the layout of the land and various features of the development, 900,000 gallons worth of rainwater tanks were installed, which is enough to fully irrigate the whole landscape for weeks. For waste management, an updated sewage treatment plant system is installed in the project and compliant to the latest and more stringent requirements of DNR with these parameters. Waste diversion and segregation. As the contractor, Monocrete has an established alternative methods to systematically reduce and divert waste. These various business units provide strong support to the job site operations in ensuring that these are accomplished. As for both Mudala and Moadto, the design group have also incorporated 2 MRFs strategically placed within the site to properly manage and segregate all wastes during hotel and mall operations. Daily beach cleanups are also done ever since construction have started. It is actually a crucial part of the morning and afternoon routine of housekeeping. In partnership with various businesses and governing bodies, beach cleanups are made and are intrinsic part of the community already. So these are the photos taken and snapshots during various cleanups joined by our employees, their families, and local partners. Hashtag Plastic Free Bohol. Anyone with this kind of events or activities can actually become an ambassador of sustaining our Mother Earth, right? We go to leadership. Engineer Manuel Mendoza is the chairman of Monocrete and owner of Mudala. He's actually at the forefront of this journey. He is hands-on and personally oversees the project. His heart is always with his people, continuously educating, training, and innovating. His mantra is actually sustainability through employee engagement. His wife, Monocrete's managing director and the owner of Mudala, Miss Elizabeth Mendoza, lives by her creed. Her life's journey is all about building trust for us to be better every day. Together with them, designers are at the forefront in supporting Mono Realty with the sustainability measures taken into this project. What G is the foreign architect who put into plans the vision of our engineer Manny and Mambe. JSLA led the team of local designers partnered with MSA for the interior design, CLSDI for architectural lighting, PGAA for landscaping and site development works, Quadstruct Inc. for structural works, Engineer Jose Seranilla for electrical, Engineer Figueroa for plumbing and fire pro, Engineer Isagani Brugada for mechanical works. And internally, there are 3 certified BERDE professionals, including myself, within the organization who oversees the requirements of our BERDE framework. Externally, there is a solid support from the community leaders for us to continue striving for excellence into this project, including strict inspection protocols made by government officials to ensure compliances and safety measures are met. Use of land and ecology. This project is designed with the protection of the environment as the foremost requirement. Stringent measures were made to ensure that there are no runoffs towards the sea and that natural flora and fauna are preserved. Setbacks were strictly followed, and the beach and all protected reefs are the main priority during construction. Safety engineering measures were done to diminish runoffs and avoid destruction of natural grounds on this protected and precious area. Plants bowled out in 2015 were transplanted back to strategic locations to provide screen for dust and to promote local and endemic species. Coconuts and pandakaki were given priority amongst other foliage that are native and adapted in the area. Precast walkways have been placed on top of tamped sand to provide easy access to guests and beachgoers since we have an almost 1 kilometer beachfront, coupled with cabanas which are placed strategically along the beach to stay, for beachgoers to stay without disturbing much the natural layout of the land. Green materials, synthetic wood with recyclable content were used all throughout. Local sulihia made by hands are used for accent doors. Recycled or reclaimed wood were also used for interior accents or counters, wherein suppliers are required to have FSC certifications. All facade are either stone or wood finish. But these are not separate cladding materials. We have developed precast molds to replicate the texture of natural stone or wood and painted with low VOC tint to look like wood or natural stone. As you can see in this picture, that is part of the precast wall installed in the Muadto strip for this pharmacy. This beautifully painted panoramic mural is scattered all throughout the property, and paints used are generally water-based and has low VOC content. Artworks such as this are featured all throughout the public areas also to highlight the works of our local artists commissioned by our managing director. For transportation, even the effect on traffic was given priority and established prior to the commencement of Phase 1. Here you can see pedestrian lanes, cart path or service path, and vehicle path. No? The mall, which is what we know as Muadto, is actually derived from the Visayan dialect, which means to go, will go to, or going to. Thus, pedestrian access is given the utmost priority when we are developing both Mudala and Muadto. Partnerships with local transport associations such as the PATDOA, which is the Panglao Tricycle Drivers and Operators Association, are made to make access to the site more viable. Partnerships with local market is also established to bring the best of Bohol within the mall walls of this mall. Distinct drop-off areas for vehicles are developed, and while pedestrian walkways are prioritized all throughout for the benefit of guests and mall goers. Indoor air quality, naturally ventilated spaces are promoted in all areas within the hotel, thereby improving the environment quality within the walls of this project. This is the entrance from the drop-off point. This is the naturally ventilated main lobby featuring the view of the sea, and another view of the lobby with a view towards Muadto Strip. So it's an open plan development. So operating amidst COVID-19, I will be showing you the render and the actual photos of our completed project for your reference. This is a drone shot of our project. The left one is the actual photo. The right one is the render. This is the entrance towards the Muadto Strip, and the view from the beach towards the gate of the Muadto Strip. The swimming pool or the lounge area, the guest rooms, and another guest room for your reference. So local residents are hired and trained to form the operations group to welcome you in your stay with Modala. To those who are in the area, we welcome you as our Mudala and Muadto had our soft opening last week, 18th of September, 2020. So, to close, let us live a life with the hashtag closer to nature through our Mudala Hotel and Muadto Strip. Developments cannot be avoided. Developments such as this are necessary for the society to thrive. But as developers and as professionals, let us always be respectful of the nature that surrounds us. Thus, we live harmoniously in the present and provide our kids with the future that they actually deserve. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Ms. Ariano, for that presentation. So for questions, again, let me just remind the participants, you may send them in using the question panel in the GoToWebinar app, or if you are connected in a browser, there is a section there for questions where you can type in your questions. Please indicate to whom you are addressing your question to so that we can properly manage them during the discussion period after all of our presentations. So we'll now go to the next project, which is Cebu Exchange. And we have with us Christina Samantha Pobre. So let me now give the control and the audio to Sam.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Sam Pobre, and I am the Sustainability Manager of Arthaland. Today, I will be presenting one of our commercial developments, Cebu Exchange. This project is positioned to be the largest multi-certified business ecosystem in the Philippines, developed by Arthaland and in partnership with Arch Capital. The project adheres to 4 green building rating systems and aims for BERDE 5 stars, LEED Gold, EDGE Zero Carbon, and WELL certification. And very much in line with this year's Green Building Week, Arthaland participates in Act on Climate by committing to a certified net zero carbon portfolio by 2030. Cebu Exchange will also pursue net zero energy certification under Philippine Green Building Council's Advancing Net Zero program. A net zero building is defined by the hosting rating system, but common to them are 3 characteristics. One is that it has to be a certified sustainable building, and we can do this by vying for BERDE certification. Number 2, it has to demonstrate high energy efficiency in building, and BERDE's credit for energy efficiency and conservation is a very good platform in achieving these characteristics. Number 3, for the power and energy that we do need to operate the building, it has to come from a renewable energy, either on-site or off-site. So this presentation would show how CEBEX is able to meet these 3 characteristics as a BERDE project. So for a brief introduction on what CEBEX is, it is 108,000 square meters of office commercial building located in Cebu. And we are very happy that we were able to top off the building according to schedule this month despite the pandemic. And we project that phase 2 will finish according to schedule as well by 2021. The project is designed by Architecture International together with our local partners and designers such as GFN Partners and Arcadis Philippines. And of course, our general contractor, DTKI, being with us through these uncertain times. So sustainability starts from the site selection because it primarily dictates on how your building occupants will move through and from your building. So we particularly selected this site for Cebu Exchange because it has 7 bus and jeepney lines accessible within 250-meter walking distance, a very convenient for them to walk to and from. And also within 250-meter walking distance are many, many daily essentials around the place. This provides our building occupants a certain independency from single-user cars, as well as an alternative transportation mode. And as massive as our building is, we want our building occupants to be able to enjoy and access vegetation within the space itself. That's why we are providing 2,600 square meters of total vegetated garden decks distributed in the different levels of CEBEX. This is where they can relax and even do physical activities for their own health and well-being. To reduce the water efficiency and to reduce the water demand of our building, we have installed low-flow water-efficient plumbing fixtures that is operated by a sensor. This sensor is actually doing us very well now that it's pandemic because it is the best in terms of hand hygiene and preventing the transmission of diseases by avoiding touching any surfaces in the sink. And the water, the gray water that comes from these plumbing fixtures, together with our rainwater collection tanks, the water from them we are able to recycle to use them for our irrigation and toilet flushing demand throughout the building. that furthers down the demand of the building's water demand. For waste management, it is very important to have an available facility on site, like an MRF, to implement your waste management plan. Because without this, it is going to be very hard to collect, segregate, record, and even divert construction waste from dump sites. These two photos are actual photos taken from our site, and it shows how we are trying to extend the life of our construction debris to further support us in construction. For electives, this has been approved by Philippine Green Building Council. Ortholand empowers women in this male-dominated industry. More than 50% of our own workforce and our project design is composed of women, showing our belief in equal opportunity and gender equality. And latest ventures of Ortholand is we are gearing up our lobbies to be able to accommodate virtual concierge to receive our occupants and guests. This is a preventive measures from us to ensure the unnecessary contact between our occupants and guests, and as well as a preventive measure for transmission of diseases. Cottager gardens. We are designing all of our properties to have a cottager garden. For Cebex, we have 200 square meters of growing area of edible garden available for our building occupants to promote healthy eating. And mind you guys, cottager gardens are not limited in building operations. It can also happen in construction sites. These two photos are actually taken from Cebex construction site, and you can see how our vegetables are actually thriving there. And actually, a side note, you would also be able to observe that how we are using our construction debris to support us in our little initiatives like this one. Another fun thing that we do in Cebex is whenever we celebrate our construction milestone, we always link it to our sustainability commitments. That's why during our top offer phase 1, we celebrated it with our Earth Day ceremony, where we invited Mandaue High School dance troupe to do a cultural dance. And we also brought out the creative side of our construction team by displaying their artworks throughout our events. Ortholand advocates not only in green building, but also in sustainable living. This is one of the many workshops that we've done to educate the public. This one is particularly for the kids of Cebu, where we invited 30 kids and a few more adults in this photo. We taught them how to recycle and compost. An important consideration most especially in big buildings like Cebex is the indoor environment quality. Cebu Exchange is designed according to the international standard of ASHRAE 62.1 for ventilation that ensures a building occupants would receive fresh air at all times, regardless of where they are in the building. Also within our ventilation system is the heat exchanger, where it could also contribute to energy efficiency of the building. And more on energy, we already know, according to many studies and case studies, that more than 40% of a commercial building's energy consumption is attributed to HVAC and lighting systems. This is why it's very logical for us to target these two energy end use for our building conservation for the energy. And HVAC is greatly influenced by the design of our building envelope. So Cebex is designed with double glazing with a performance of 0.22 solar heat gain coefficient, which is significantly better performing than the regular single glass here in the Philippines. And of course, to optimize the whole building facade in terms of energy performance, we have designed it to have a window-to-wall ratio of 40%. And strategies to directly influence the energy consumption of HVAC and lighting. We have designed the building to have an average efficiency of 15 for the AC system, and we have installed and specified low-emitting diode lighting for our fixtures. With the total design of CEBEX, we are projecting 40% total building energy savings annually. And for the 60% that we do need to operate the building, we were able to fully decarbonize it by being supplied by a geothermal power plant in Leyte. With that, CEBEX as a BERDE project that achieves high energy efficiency and is fully decarbonized demonstrates that net zero carbon building is achievable. We hope that more will join us, PHILGBC, and the World Green Building Council in this global goal for climate action. Thank you.
Harmony, the beautiful interweaving of different elements into a singular experience, an experience that's diverse yet cohesive, complete and perfectly balanced. From Arthaland, the Philippines' best boutique real estate developer, comes an innovative and sustainable office development in Cebu. Welcome to the Cebu Exchange. Among Asia's top growth performers in 2017, the Philippines has continued to become a hotspot for some of the most exciting investment opportunities in the region. A highlight in this booming economy is Cebu City, an instrumental nexus for trade, progress, and development in the country. Known for being a world-class tourist destination, Cebu, the Queen City of the South, is also one of the most important and influential economic centers in the Philippines, thanks to its idyllic work-leisure environment. And right at the heart of it all is the Cebu Exchange. Developed through a strong partnership between Arthaland and Arch Capital, the Cebu Exchange proudly stands at the gateway of the Cebu IT Park, putting businesses and organizations at the very core of not only the city's, but the entire region's progressive landscape. Designed with leading-edge office technologies, an abundance of sustainable features, along with a completely diverse amenity and retail mix, the Cebu Exchange offers the perfect environment for both organizations and individuals to grow. A premier business ecosystem that promotes employee well-being and utmost efficiency, from operations to foot traffic. A masterpiece of sustainable development, the Cebu Exchange will stand as the biggest and best green office development in the nation that will allow businesses to maximize operational efficiency, lower day-to-day costs, and provide a healthier, more comfortable, and more productive work environment, making this one of the most desirable business addresses in Cebu. Thoughtful and deliberate from design to execution, the development will boast of a wonderful selection of amenities, all in tune with the needs of today's workforce. And with 3 distinct smart zones, offering a variety of cuts and unit sizes, locators and tenants are sure to find the right space for their specific needs, allowing them to customize and curate their own harmonious working environment. This is the future of business, a holistic and highly connected work environment where harmony is not just a way of life, but a way of doing business. The Cebu Exchange, business in harmony.
Thank you very much, Sam. So just to remind our participants, you may still ask your questions by sending them in using the questions panel in the GoToWebinar app or on your browser. And we will be addressing these questions during the discussion period. So we'll now move to the next project, which is the Mandani Bay Suites. And we have with us Jeffrey Lunn from HT Land Inc. to share with us this project. So let me now pass the control and audio to Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
Thank you, Mario. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are glad to be here today to share with you our BERDE certified project, Mandani Bay in Cebu. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. A bit of a background about who we are. Mandani Bay is developed by HT Land, who is a joint venture company between Hong Kong Land and Taft Property. Hong Kong Land is a 130 years old company, headquartered in Hong Kong. We own and manage close to 1 million square meters of prime real estate in Hong Kong, Greater China and Southeast Asia. And Tough Property, of course, is owned by the Gaisano family, who is our joint venture partner of Mandani Bay. Doesn't seem to move. Okay. Okay. So in Hong Kong Land, sustainability is in the heart of our business. So basically, we focus in 5 areas: governance, health and safety, environment, community, and also people. We make conscious effort from the start of the development projects on all these 5 areas, so that the impact to social and environmental is being observed. Our objective is pretty much to ensure long-term stability and also value for our business, our employees, and also our community. Okay, our commitment in sustainability and also environment is reflected in the many awards that we have received over the years. In our central portfolio in Hong Kong, we tested many initiatives and adopted the best practice to save energy. We then collaborate and share this lesson learned with our development elsewhere in Asia to help make our city a greener and more pleasant place. Okay, this is just a list of the projects, certified green building certified projects that we have in Hong Kong, Singapore, China, and other part of Southeast Asia. And in 2019, all 12 of our Hong Kong Land building in the central portfolio in Hong Kong have obtained the highest platinum rating of BEAM Plus certification for existing building. In the entire Hong Kong, only 35 buildings have been awarded this platinum rating, and Hong Kong Land pretty much have about 1/3 of them. And that shows our commitment in terms of sustainability in buildings. Our central portfolio in Hong Kong also achieved the certificate of excellence in environmental and environmental stewardship from the IFMA. Our Exchange Square and the Forum have received the Grand Award of the Hong Kong Green Building Award. This is the most highly regarded award in the Hong Kong industry. And in Singapore, our Marina Bay Financial Center and also the One Raffles Quay have just been recertified to platinum grade last year. And the World Trade Center in Jakarta and the Wangfu Central in China, Beijing, are also among some of the other many green certified buildings that we have. So today, we are here to share with you our BERDE certified project in Cebu, Mandani Bay. So we all know that the 2020 vision is pretty much considered a perfect vision. So in Mandani Bay, we too have a 2020 vision. And our vision is doesn't move. Okay. On Mandani Bay, 20 hectares, 20 towers. 20 hectare, 20 tower will house about 60,000 resident and tenant, and in about 20,000 units. This will be developed over 15 years time. And Mandani Bay is a mixed-use waterfront development. This is a mini township where you basically can live, work, and play in the same place. How good it is if you wake up half an hour before your office hour and you still can get to the office on time. And we are quite confident when Mandani Bay is fully completed, it will be the another landmark in Cebu. So of course, this is not always like that. When we first went to the site in 2014, it is just a raw land with grass, as tall as a human, and we even see snakes and rats running around. And our vision is to transform it into a premium destination in Cebu. And in 2015, we completed the master plan of Mandani Bay. That is to pave us for the next 15 years of development. And in 2016, that's the time we completed our design and also drawings for Mandani Bay Suite, which is our phase 1 development in Mandani Bay. And we completed this in the early part of 2016. And come sometime in the middle of 2016, we received a little shock from the city LGU, telling us that now BERDE is a requirement, 3-star minimum. We are a bit panicky, have to say that, among the team member, because we are not sure how much is this going to affect our design and our drawings, and whether it will affect the launch of our projects. So, but the city is very supportive, very encouraging. Tell us, give it a try, and then we see how we can take it forward. So after about 2 weeks of denial and resistance, so the team finally sit down and say, let's do a self-assessment and see where we are. And to our surprise, we have achieved enough points for at least a 3-star. And that showed that sustainability design is actually the DNA in our company. And unconsciously, we have already incorporated many of these green building features into our design without even thinking whether this is our compliance or not. So, and after that, everything is history. I mean, in 2017, we registered our projects as BERDE registered. 2018, we were certified 4-star for Mandani Bay Suite. Just the process of the BERDE certification, we have completed the registration and stage 1 certification. Pretty much that's on the documentation part. Now we are ongoing for the stage 2 certification. Just to share a little of our some of the green feature that we have in our projects. And most of these have been shared with the previous speaker. I mean, it's nothing new, but it's just consciously you have to make effort to do it. Energy efficiency, you use LED light in all our common areas, car parks, gyms, plant room, and so on, for energy saving purpose, and to eliminate the need for people to, some people forgot to switch off the light and things like that. So we make all the plant room, refuse room, even fire exit, car park portion of the car parks, we put in motion sensor. So you don't have to, if people forgot to turn off, it's okay, when there's no movement, the light will switch off by itself. And timer is being installed for all our landscape lighting and also swimming pool. At the right time during the evening, it will switch on, and right before midnight, it will switch off. Aircon, we install those that with ER above the minimum requirement, again for energy saving purpose. And we also install this electrical car charging station provision. At this time, electrical car is not that popular yet in Cebu, but we already look forward to that and make provision for it. So when the market is ready for electrical car, all we need to do is just install a charging station and we are good to go. Come to water saving. All these are low flow water saving toilet features. This is installed in all our residential units and also in the common areas. Rainwater collection tanks is installed at our development and also in the building. So rainwater will be collected during the rainy days and it will be used for irrigation purpose during the dry days. Okay, green materials. This again is you need to make effort to choose a green materials. They are not the lowest price material in the market, but for the good of the environment, we always go with that. Painting, low VOC type of paint, and the wood product, we go for the FSC certified products. In terms of construction, okay, we encourage our contractor to put up a batching plant on site. I mean, in addition to handle the supply concern, we also need to cut down the traffic, the need to transport the concrete from a few kilometers away to our job site, and that also cut down the carbon emission. And all our batching plant is comply with the ECC requirement. In terms of formwork, we encourage our contractor to use a metal formwork, especially for columns and retaining wall, auto climbing system for the shear wall, whenever possible. So for area that is not possible, phenolic board is being used, but we try to reuse it at least 7 times before we replace them. Precast technology also being encouraged to use to our contractor. Precast external wall and internal wall is quite common. In fact, we are pushing our contractor to go a little bit more, thinking about using precast slab, precast beam, precast staircase. That will substantially cut down the wastage and also the use of wood formwork. Of course, for the building envelope, we are using this IGU glass that will cut down the heat gain for the building. In terms of our show gallery, most of the project, one show gallery for every development. For our project, since we have 20 towers, from day one we built a very quite a nice show gallery, and this show gallery will be used for the entire development, all 20 towers. So all we need to do just to replace the show unit, and we are good to go. And this, is a way to show that our sustainability practice is right at the doorstep of our Mandani Bay. Open space design is also incorporated into our projects. Out of the 20 hectares of Mandani Bay development, approximately 75% are open space. And of that, 25% or more is a softscape, and 50% is actually shaded hardscape. And right in the center of the development is a 400-meter green promenade that allow the open space for both the resident and the tenant. We also incorporated a 500-meter boardwalk along Mactan Channel, and this is when it's completed, is going to be a very happening place in Cebu, and the place where you can watch sunrise in the morning. In the evening time, you can bring the family for a jog or bicycle ride. And there are also a lot of other activity incorporated into the boardwalk. There's a mini amphitheater for events, basketball court, soccer fields. Of course, F&B, the best in Cebu, will be all housed here. So please come to our boardwalk when it's ready. For transportation, this is a very unique feature for our Mandani Bay Master Plan. We, in terms of connectivity, we provide three layer of connectivity between buildings and blocks. Of course, on the ground, it's all you can connect to each other. And come to the parking, all the basement parking are interlinked through underground tunnel. Basically, you can, if you can't get parking here, you can go to another block to look for another parking. It's all connected as one. And come to the second floor of the retail is connected through a link bridge. You can walk from one block of the retail space to another block, and the amenity floor are all also interlinked through the link bridge. So the resident of one block can jog to another block and also enjoy part of the facility on the other side. Okay, we promote the use of bicycle rack are provided in all the developments. And of course, we mentioned earlier on the e-vehicle charging stations. Not to forget our Mother Earth. We make very cautious effort to preserve the existing plantation on site. In fact, we design our landscape around the existing trees so that we can preserve them. And for area that we use a new plant, we try to use a native species. Oops. Our commitment to the project is to plant at least 40,000 trees over the duration of our development, about 10 to 15 years. And the for so far we have planted slightly less than 10,000. Still have another 30,000 to go for the next 10 years. This will be planted around the island of Cebu. Our employee and also workers are encouraged to participate in some of the CSR activity, and we have taken part in the coastal and the river cleanup activity in Cebu in the past years. And Tipolo Creek, this is a joint effort between Mandani Bay and also the city of Mandawi for the rehabilitation of Tipolo Creek using this EM1 technology, effective microorganism. We started this about 4 years ago. We are doing this every other week during the wet season. During the dry season, we may go to treat the water every week using solution and also mud ball. And it actually, basically it's like yogurt. You put the bacteria, the good bacteria, to eat away the bad bacteria. And you can see the effect in out of the 4 years. In 2015, that is the quality of the water at Tipolo Creek. And today, this picture is taken in March 2020. Of course, we did not solve the problem until the upstream contamination can stop, but the water qualities have a very significant improvement over the years. And for our office operation and also in the future our tenants and residents, we encourage the 3R, reuse, recycle, and reduce. We have incorporated some innovation into our operation also. The team are using Oracle Aconex for document control. With this system, it's not a cheap system, quite an expensive system, but this system make the work a lot more productive and also cut down the paperwork very significantly. We are also using Novate for our site inspection, safety, and quality control. We are, I think, it's the first development in Philippines to use Novate. Again, this one will cut down a lot of the paperwork requirement. Everything is stored online using apps or your tablet or computer. In our response to the COVID, we have installed UV air purifier for all our elevators. This will clean the air. When you're inside the enclosed place in the elevator, it also taking care of the concern about airborne virus. The last but not least, our elevator, we also install a UV device on all the handrail to reduce the risk of contamination. So for us, the next phase after Mandani Bay Street is Mandani Bay Quay. This is a project with 4 towers, 3 residential and 1 office. We already got it certified, and currently certification is ongoing. So with that, I thank you for your time this morning, and together we'll move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. So we'll now move to our last presentation for this morning. For the Latitude Corporate Center, we have with us Francis Rodriguez from Cebu Landmasters. So let me pass now the control and the audio to Francis.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. And this is our first engagement with BERDE. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Francis Rodriguez, Technical Planning Manager for Cebu Landmasters. So let me begin my presentation. So to give you a brief background of Cebu Landmasters, Cebu Landmasters is a homegrown developer which started around 2003. We started small, and at that time, our leaders, our head came from a prestigious and notable developer as well from the Ayala Group, and he ventured on his own and started making his own brand, which is now the Cebu Landmasters. We are a growing company apart from our competitors. We started small, and then around 2003 we started developing subdivisions, and then after the success of the series of subdivisions that Cebu Landmasters launched, we then progressed to a higher purpose, or rather a higher challenge, and that challenge brought us to the vertical projects. So uh, we are now, I'm proud to say that we are a leading residential developer in Mindanao with 70 projects in different stages of development in 15 key cities in the region. So our real estate experience uh, will be spent on continuously being masters of one thing. It's to serve you. So our vision has always been uh, partnered uh, with uh, with a heart, with a passion. So to be leading customer focused and community centric real estate company in the Vismin area. And our vision is to guarantee our stakeholders satisfaction by being extraordinary in every step of the real estate journey. So our projects varies from mixed use developments, townships. We're also developing townships in Mandaue, in the key city of Davao, and hopefully we'll get to realize them soon. So for our residences, which is our subdivisions, offices, and hotels. So our project, Latitude Corporate Center, it's situated along a prime district. It's in Ayala District. So with a total land area of 23,477 square meters. So the components of the building are divided into three types of offices. So we have the BPO, uh, the enterprise floors, the executive offices, which has the smallest percentage of land area. So for our ground level and second floors, which are dedicated for retail area. So other project details. The GFA is around 35,747 square meters. 24 stories with 83 number of units, 8 elevators, and 246 parking slots. So our thrust and our mission is to really go beyond what is expected of us. So originally, this was not uh, this was not a requirement on our behalf, but we felt and we sensed that going BERDE is really the right thing to do, which is uh, what we have been always we have always been practicing in our core values here in our company. Is to be extraordinary, you know? And one way to do it is to go BERDE. So looking at our energy efficient conservation, so we've targeted an energy consumption reduction of 31.88%. So we've managed to specify operable windows for regular occupied office spaces and energy efficient lighting fixtures, LED components, and other energy saving devices for procurement, and for our air conditioning systems to be energy efficient. So for the water efficiency and conservation bracket, uh, we're targeting a water consumption of about 55.32% water efficiency. So water collected from the rainwater will go to a harvesting tank that will be used for our irrigation and for our office operations, mainly on the maintenance of the building. The project is connected to the centralized STP of Cebu Business Park. So part of this engagement is for management to be able to understand what BERDE is really about. And then part of the success of a project is to really deliver and transcend uh, the learnings and the principles of what BERDE is really about. And then with that, the management continually educates the project team components or the project members. And then we're currently on stage 2 submission for BERDE for this project. To discuss and give you a background of the ecology and the land use of where Latitude Corporate Center is. So originally, the first land use was a golf course way back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So this was a prime recreational component of Cebu City before, as it was occupied by Club Filipino. The second use was an open surface parking when it was developed and was acquired by Ayala. This was converted into just a parking, open type parking space for vehicles to park and for other building users to occupy the property. Sorry. And then lastly, the third use of the land is uh, uh, the project itself, where Latitude Corporate Center is right now. So we're really focused on achieving and maintaining the principles of a green sustainable development. And then when we started this project, there was this particular tree, a a tree that's very beautiful, and then we really were when we saw it from the from from the early stage of the design, we really felt and compelled that it's really right, or it's the right thing to do to maintain and to preserve the tree itself. So there's an acacia tree here that is where the main entry or the plaza will be. So it's a native plant species used for landscaping all around, and green walls are being installed from the 14th to the 17th floor facade. So where what we lack in space vertically, we try to compensate them by employing green walls to our development. So our green materials. So we specified, sorry, skipped. So for green materials, the specified materials with recycled contents is equivalent to 20.48% of the total budgeted cost for materials. So locally manufactured products located within 100 kilometers of the project site is equivalent to 35.87% of the total cost of the materials. So we tried as much as possible to use locally available products around the project within that kilometer radius. So the area is located in proximity of at least 12 key establishments, preferred parking slots for fuel efficient and low emitting vehicles with corresponding incentives are considered in the project. Our indoor environment quality. So 100% of the regularly occupied spaces have access to daylight and outdoor views. 93% of the regularly occupied spaces have provision for natural ventilation. Designed with entryways mats in all public entrances. 73% total budgeted cost for materials with low VOC content. Our air conditioning systems are using R410A refrigerant, which is an ozone layer friendly component. So that's what I can say about Latitude Corporate Center. Thank you for listening, and back to you, Mario.
Thank you very much, Francis. So just to remind everyone, you may still submit your questions for our discussions. Um, you may send them using the questions panel in the GoToWebinar app, as well as if you are connected to a browser, you may send in your questions by typing in your questions. Please include to whom you are addressing your questions to, so we can properly address them during this discussion. Unfortunately, some of our presenters had to leave early, but please rest assured we are collecting all of your questions and we will be sending them to them, your questions to them so that they can connect with you directly. So we'll first, let me just open the questions and go through some of your questions submitted. Okay, so we have here a question from Carlo Arsenal. This is for Monocrete, so for Che. You mentioned you installed an HRV system. Can you expand on that and why you chose HRV instead of ERV?
For the aircon, it's a it's a VRV system, which is the Daikin system in uh, specified for our project. So we use the ER32 refrigerant, the system with R32 refrigerant to be compliant and have a zero effect on the environment.
Thank you, Che. Next, we have a question here for everyone. This is from Marjorie Oblinada. They're asking what's the most challenging part your project has faced in terms of pursuing sustainability and your BERDE certification, and what were the actions you took to address these challenges. So let me go down the line for the same question. So let me start with Kathy.
Yes.
So Marjorie asks, what is the most challenging part for your project you have faced in terms of pursuing sustainability and certification under BERDE, and what actions you took to address them?
One of our most challenging encounters really was to be able to address all the stakeholders, even the contractors, the suppliers, make them feel that for this particular project in this particular location, we are starting not a trend, but we are beginning a standard in Davao City and in Mindanao. So it's not just Manila, it's not just Luzon, it's not even just Cebu. All over the Philippines, sustainability has to reach its mark. And that was our challenge. And the wonderful thing about it is people kept to the challenge and everybody happily cooperated. And the suppliers, the stakeholders, the managers, we all participated in this effort. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Kathy. So let me ask the same question to you, Jeffrey. What were the challenges that you had for your project in pursuing sustainability as well as pursuing BERDE certification, and what were your actions to address them? Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think the main challenge is how much we demand ourselves to go for a higher requirement. Of course, for BERDE, the minimum requirement is 3-star, but we always think 3-star is not enough. We want to do more. But when we want to do more, we also need to balance the cost with the investment. So it's how to achieve a balance between how much we're willing to spend for the project and how much we want to go, because it's unlimited, right? How many things you want to do. So it's mainly to how to strike a balance between the two.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Let me ask the same question to you, Che. What were your challenges in pursuing sustainability for your project, and what were your actions to address them?
Yeah, for this project, in terms of the actual design and the requirements, our group of designers have already incorporated much of the required items in our BERDE framework. So the challenges that we encountered for Mudala is actually in the actual operations, because the location has so many natural features that we need and want to protect. So the construction activities had to be very conservative and need to be considerate in terms of our effect in the ecology of the land. So that is where we had the most challenge for Mudala. But apparently, with our group there, we were able to manage and balance the needs of the operations and incorporate environmental works to support the the nature around us.
Thank you, Che. So we have here a question from Carla Arsenal to HT Land, to Jeffrey. Did you encounter any difficulties in identifying a native plant species for your project? Jeffrey?
Yes, I think the because our landscape design is actually a foreign landscape architect for the conceptual design. I mean, the architect actually choose how he want the feel and the look. And then we also engage a local landscape architect to help us to make it work. And the challenge is, how do you find something that's local species that can match the concept of the foreign landscape architect? We do have some challenge on that. Eventually, we managed to find something that is matching, but the challenge is, again, are you able to find the actual plant available during that time? So those are the, these are just a routine construction challenges for us.
Thank you, Jeffrey. We have here a question from Chito Aguro, and it's a question for everyone. Do you also promote sustainability and green practices to your tenants? And do you suggest ways for them to become sustainable? So let me start with you, Jeffrey, since you are already on the audio. Are you promoting sustainability and green practices to your tenants?
Yes, in our development, we have a retails and office tower that we will be leasing out. Residential, of course, is all a homeowner. For the tenants side, we will put into certain requirements. For example, the type of aircon you want to use, type of lighting you want to use, also on the recycle effort, things like that. I think those are the things that we would like the tenant to also participate. It may take us a while to convince some of the tenant to see things eye to eye with us, but eventually I think we can convince them. It's for the better good of everything.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Let me go to you, Che, for the same question. I think this is a bit interesting, especially since you are a hospitality project and a mixed commercial retail. So how are you promoting sustainability to your end users as well as your tenants in your project?
Yes, it is. It is actually a very focal point of our operations in terms of prior to the opening of the both hotel and the mall. For the tenants, we are incorporating in the facilities use agreement sustainability measures that were actually incorporated in the design and that they have to comply, including in their operations. As for the hotel operations naman, there are many sustainable programs that were brought up to the hotel operations group, like not using single-use plastic. We are using bottles for the water, glass bottles, so that it will be reused. So there are many sustainable practices that were required for both the hotel operations and the tenants prior to them signing up to the owner of the project.
Thank you, Che. So let me go to you, Kathy, for the same questions. Since you are still undergoing construction for your project, in the future for your operations, how will you be promoting sustainability and green practices to your tenants for the project?
With
Kathy?
our good morning once again. With our broker with us and other incoming future tenants, we've been quite selective, understandably so, with looking for people, tenants, potential occupants who also believe and practice sustainability. Interestingly, we have potential applicants already for this, and they are also understanding and requiring this, because most of them are also multinational firms and international companies looking for a place and using the Mosa Diamond Tower as their headquarters in Mindanao. So these people also walk the talk. So we are very happy to share it with the tenants. So it's part of the marketing materials.
Thank you, Kathy. We have here a question from Willie Tinta. Their question is, have our contractors here in the Philippines ever had projects with the academe, and can you name a few? While our panel doesn't have any academic institutions as their projects, in fact, BERDE does have a couple of different projects that are academic buildings or academic institutions, including a DepEd project, as well as the University of Cebu, Lapu-Lapu, Mandaue, undergoing BERDE, as well as the first educational institution certified under BERDE, which is the Henry C. Hall of the LSU. Maybe this is a question I can throw to Che. As a contractor as well, Monarch Construction Philippines, how are you engaging, or how are project proponents engaging you who have the same values in pursuing green buildings and sustainability?
Thank you, Mario. In terms of engaging sustainability as a contractor, here in the Philippines, most of our designers that we work with already incorporate in their designs the basic framework that can certify a project. So it's a common practice already for most designers that we work with. So when we engage with clients in terms of their projects, whether residential or BPO or academe, because we have school projects also. um we it is Even though it's not going to be certified, the features of the project already incorporates the BERDE framework, since within the organization as a contractor, we have several BERDE professionals working inside the organization, um to ensure that once, even if the operations are underway, or the construction is underway, once the owner decides to that they want to be certified, the documentations and the requirements are not very difficult to change. So we already incorporate it in all of our projects.
Thank you very
That's it, Mark.
much. Thank you, Che. So we have here a question for Arthaland. Can you expand more on your gray water system? I think we have online with us Mr. Edgar Sabidong from Arthaland, as well as our chair for the Philippine Green Building Council. Sir Ed, would you like to take this question?
Mario,
Hi,
can
Sir
you
Ed.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, I'd like to respond to that. Just quickly on the gray water. No, I think just like the projects that we do here in Manila, it's a challenge that if we do provide double piping, but sometimes the availability, of course, of the source, when it's not there and it's not available, then it is there, no, ready anytime. For Cebex, we do the same thing, but we utilize it more on the stormwater collection. That's the very reason why we opted for bigger areas on the landscaping, 2,600 square, because we wanted to have opportunities also for rainwater collection that we can also recycle, filtrate, and then reuse, so that we'll have enough not only for flushing, not only for rainwater collection and the irrigation, but likewise also for people to appreciate and understand that, especially now that we are undergoing La Nina, there's much opportunity for us to collect water and then improve on the water efficiency collection. But on behalf of Sam, who did the presentation a while back, I'd like to also address, which may not have been taken up as of yet. This is also a frequently asked question. Sorry, wait. This is also a frequently asked question where the challenges of doing a green building, I'd say, is an ABC. The reason is because we have problems with awareness. The very reason why we're having a lot of training, because people are not very aware of what a green building is. And from the beginning, when we started BERDE, this was already our challenge. So we do a lot of training, not only to our own staff, to our sellers, the sales team, but also to the public, to the community where we are engaged. No, the B, because I'm mentioning A, B, C as a challenge. The B there is the building design, how we adapt and engage our consultants also to be able to work out the best possible ways that will also not entail heavy costs to be able to come up with the features of a green building. And C would be the client, because you do the building for the client, and therefore you also have to educate them. You need to make them understand. We always talk about premium, but as Raymond rightly put it a while back, we hope for the time when people will no longer ask about how much will it cost to do a green building. Just like Raymond, I also had chance to sit down with a lot of developers. And this always has been the challenge, because the mindset is that it's always expensive. But our chairman, Jaime Gonzalez, also rightly put it, that when you think about the future of our generations, is there any better investment than putting something for nature, putting legacies, and being able to build them? So I'd say that I'm answering two questions here. One is the challenge, and one are the efforts that we're putting up to be able to come up with an operational, sustainable development. So I hope that I can also impart in the minds of the people who are listening that we in the council at PHILGBC really is working very hard to help spread this. As you can see, we have Davao, we have Cebu and Bohol and Manila. And we look forward to being able to spread more geographically with your help, by allowing your clients, your tenants, your consultants, the communities that you serve, to be able to understand better what this can do and why we have to move forward to net zero. So that's my take, and thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ed. Since I have you on the line, let me ask you one more question for Arthalan.
Okay.
We have a couple of questions here related to GHG emissions and carbon footprint. And since Arthalan has committed to advancing net zero, especially with the launch of the new Advancing Net Zero Philippines program, how are you now um, pursuing reducing your GHG emissions and reducing your carbon footprint for your projects? Sir Ed?
Mario, may I know who is asking the question first?
This is asked by Roderick Abache and Willie Sentinta.
Okay, maybe I can respond to that a bit later, because this is a bit of a question that also requires some technical response. So if
Sure,
there'll
Sir
be
Ed.
to know more, we'll respond to the question later.
Okay. Sige, Sir Ed. Thank you po.
Thank you.
I think just to close the session, going back to the same question Sir Raymond answered earlier, what is the most important green building feature for your project? So let me go down the line. Let me start with you, Kathy. What do you think for the Diamond project? What is the most important green building feature for your project? Kathy?
For us at Diamond Tower, it would have to be the architectural fin because this is custom designed and angled towards the light. So it serves its purpose not just for aesthetics, but also for cover from too much heat and therefore reducing air conditioning inside the building. At the same time, also, it is so important to us because it forms the very core of the design concept, taking its inspiration from the banana fiber. So, and the agricultural history of the client. So that is to me the most important building feature.
Thank you, Kathy. Let me go to you now, Jeffrey, for the same question. What is the most important green building feature of your project? Jeffrey?
Okay, for Mandani Bay Suite, we don't have one single most important feature. I think we try to strike a balance between orientation of the building, ventilation, sun path, wind directions, and including the design element into the individual building up to material use. So we couldn't, if you say just pick one, I would say that our orientation of the building is quite well positioned. I mean, we back the mountain, we're facing the Mactan Channel, minimum exposure to the west sun, and you know that hopefully can cut down the heat gain into the building itself.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Let me now go to you, Che, for the same question. What do you think is the most important green building feature of your project?
Yeah, for this project, I think it's the concept that was really the reason why this project was brought about. So the environmental quality, the development of this project as one community or one village, the open plan design of this project actually diminishes the enclosed feel of the people indoors, thereby introducing the beautiful nature of the Panglao, the Panglao to the inside of the project. So that open plan supports many of the framework that we have in the BERDE requirement, and also is the most important feature that we have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Che, and thank you once again to all of our presenters. As I mentioned, we won't be able to address all of your questions during this session, but please rest assured we are collecting all of these questions, and we'll be sending them to our presenters so that they may connect with you directly for your questions and comments. So thank you once again to Neo Properties, to Sir Raymond Rufino for the sixth Neo project, for Cathy Saldana, for Damosa Land, for the Damosa Diamond Tower, for Mono Realty, for Richilda Soriano, for the Modala Beach Resort and Moodto Strip, for Cebu Lavana Land, for Samantha Pobre, for the Cebu Exchange project, for HT Land, for Jeffrey Lund, for the Mandani Bay Suites project, and for BLCBP Ventures, for Francis Rodriguez for the Latitude Corporate Center. Thank you again for sharing your insight and your experience for your green building projects. And hopefully our participants today are inspired to pursue as well sustainability and green building for the design, construction, and even the operations of your projects. So for the upcoming activity for the Building Green 2020 Digital Conference on Monday, we will be having episode 14, the Women in Green Building, which will be our last episode, public episode for our month-long celebration of the BG 2020 Digital Conference. Episode 14 will feature women from different sectors in the industry, and we will get to listen to their conversation on how they are leading positive change and transforming our market. This will be followed right after by episode 15, the official closing for our month-long BG 2020 Digital Conference. So please scan the QR code on your screen or follow us at PHILGBC in our social media accounts to register for the upcoming episode. So for any questions, you may contact the PHILGBC National Secretariat through events@philgbc.org. So thank you once again for joining us for this episode. We will see you in the upcoming episode of the BG 2020 Digital Conference. Happy World Green Building Week, everyone. Thank you.